The furry fandom has recently gone through a metamorphosis that began just a few years ago and came to a climax last July. For many years, furries have been nothing but an underground subculture, seen as freaks by the majority of the internet population. But things have changed now. The furry fandom has finally gained the acceptance of the wider culture, as the more mean-spirited parts of the internet have moved on to hating the Steven Universe fandom instead. What really brought about this change, however, are the releases of furry media these last few years. Hatoful Boyfriend, Zootopia, and BoJack Horseman have all helped in giving furries a new place in mainstream culture. Though we must ignore such movies like Robin Hood and Winnie the Pooh, books like The Secret of Nim and Watership Down, cartoons such as Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. None of these count in this situation because they don't fit with the narrative I'm attempting to spin. One could only say that video games attained mainstream popularity in the past few years by ignoring such games as Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. So we must also ignore all furry media, which disproves the idea that the fandom has only just now gained the attention of the mainstream culture. I'll get to why in a moment. But first, I must talk about one unfortunate side effect of our fandom's newfound popularity. While our kind have been seen by the wider society in a negative light for the longest time, that wasn't without good reason. Far too many of us behave in toxic ways and engage in quiet misogyny against our fellow furs. Consider how much of the fandom consists of male furries who only date other males. Sure, you may argue that they're part of an oppressed minority class, but you would be mistaken. These males do not attend pride events, they don't talk about how normal people oppress them every day, and they're not card-carrying members of the LGBT. They are worthless to us progressives because we can't use them to push an agenda to marginalize those with traditional Christian values. Just like the other communities where hypermasculinity is the cornerstone of their public expression, the androcentrism of the furry community is the very definition of quiet misogyny. For a long time, these are the sorts of animals that have been the face of the furry fandom. Hence the origin of the term fur fag. These people need to be purged from the furry fandom as their woman-hating ways make our culture too off-putting for women. They are the obtuse shit-slingers of our communities and they must be made unwelcome. Because women need every space they enter to be as warm and welcoming as a kindergarten class or they won't set a paw inside. Unlike males who thrive in competitive environments, women can't stand any sort of conflict happening around them, so we all need to learn to get along and never fight. Because of this, we must end the furry identity and purge the fandom of the traditional male furry. Why, this is already happening naturally, as studies show that more adult women read furry comics than teenage boys do. Never mind the fact that the adult female population itself outnumbers that of males aged 13 to 18, or that teenage boys are not legally old enough to read most furry comics. The last few weeks therefore show that the traditional furry has seen his own irrelevance, and that's why he's so angered at us. Storytelling about animals has attained a place in popular culture that could only happen without furries. Soon after this purge, anthro art will be for everyone to purchase for home display, just like pieces of modern art. Sure, many will be upset about this revelation, but none of those people matter anymore, for they are dead to us. They were so frugal with their money, they always made informed purchasing decisions, so they must be replaced with new fags who don't know any better than to buy whatever crap we shove in their faces. Those who backlash against us are right about what we are doing to them. Their fursuits are being taken away, and their dog houses are being boarded up. Furries now live in the real world, and they're there to stay. I'm sure that this marks the end. We are done here. From now on, there'll be no more furries. Only customers.